There's a saying, every day is for the thief. Godwin Ekpo's thief was supposed to be his protector.
Do the police often ask for money?
It's still coming in Nigeria here. And police are fond of taking money from people by force.
Godwin drove a taxi called a tricycle. Last month, a police officer stopped him to demand a bribe.
He requested for 2,000 naira.
That's about $10, what Godwin would have made working as a taxi driver that morning.
So I said, I'm coming from the church with my family.
He was with his wife and their 3 children. He refused to pay.
All of a sudden, I heard a gunshot twice. And now went down, holding my jaw like this. And the blood was just gushing out.
So the bullet came right through there?
Right through here.
The officer had shot him for refusing to pay $10.
What gave him that audacity to shoot the gun to innocent people? We were not robbers.
Fights back.
And now went down, holding my jaw like this. And the blood was just gushing out. That's when I heard my children shouting, "Mommy is dying, Mommy is dying, Mommy is dying." I quickly stood up and went back to see my wife, and the blood was just pumping out. When I held her, I discovered that the bullet entered here and came out here.
Godwin's wife had been nursing their newborn when she was killed because her husband refused to pay a $10 bribe.
She cherished me so much, and her children, she loved me so much. Since my parents died and left me, my wife that would assist me is gone.
Right, welcome back. It's the 2016 edition of the Change Your Life show. And I have with me in the studio right now the Lagos State Commissioner for Police, Mr. Fatai Owoseni. Good morning.
Good morning and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, of course. Happy New Year. So you know that story intimately. Unfortunately, Mr. Godwin cancelled this morning. He said he was advised by his counsel, Dr. Joe Odumake, not to come. We did try to get Dr. Odumake herself to come, and she couldn't make it. What is going on? What is the police? What I hear is that, tell us the status of that case. The officer who shot his wife and injured him, where is that officer? The police was supposed to have assisted him and compensated him. Where is that situation? Where are we with that situation now?
Thank you. The police sergeant that committed that murder.
And it was murder.
Yes. Of course, as all Nigerians know, it was immediately after taking him through the process of what we call hoodly room trial, which is a disciplinary procedure, dismissed within 12 hours of committing that offense. And he was also immediately charged to court. He's in prison now awaiting trial for murder.
Right.
While, of course, Mr. Godwin himself, we've been working with him. You know, of course, he himself was injured.
Injured, yes.
And we were able to take him through the process of having medical treatment, the surgery and everything. And just about 2 weeks ago, the Inspector General of Police announced the award of scholarship to his 4 children.
He doesn't seem to be aware of that. The last conversation we had with him, he did admit that his hospital bills were taken care of, that his wife, the embalmment and all of that was taken care of, but that the education of his children had not been taken care of. And in fact, he said he was afraid to come today because he was worried about security. That's what we got of him. I mean, it's a shame he cannot be here to say this on his own behalf, but he doesn't seem to be aware that his scholarship is already announced for his children.
Mr. Godwin is aware. Honestly, we've worked together all throughout. and it's a wonderful human being. The Nigeria Police Force sympathized with him. We are sorry for what happened. As I said, we've worked with him, including Dr. Joe Dumaki.
Yeah.
On the day the scholarship was announced, I called him to collect the names of the 4 kids, and immediately the IG made that announcement with those awarded to children of police officers that lost their lives in the course of our service. I called him from Abuja, and I told him, and of course, I conveyed the same information to Dr. Joe Dumaki, and we're working together to get a date that the papers would be presented to him. So
okay, good. I mean, what about compensation to himself so that he can start a new life?
It's a gradual process. And of course, when people talk about compensation, in cases like this, the step, the legal way is, get the offender, let the guy get justice, which is already getting. The case is in court. And when it comes to compensation, he also has a right to say, oh, yes, I want to take...
Because he could sue the police.
Of course, yes, he can do that.
Yeah.
And it's free to do that. Nobody has stopped him from doing that. And as I said, what the Inspector General of Police, what the Nigeria Police Force is interested is in how do we, as much as possible, get him back to life, ameliorate his sufferings, and that is what we're doing. Okay. Everything humanly possible, the Nigeria Police is doing for him.
All right. I think what would also be interesting and would be great on the long run is how do we prevent reoccurrence of such incidences? I mean, once upon a time this is why people do not trust the police. I sense, and I have no proof of that, but I think that that's beginning to improve. I certainly like engaging with you on the level in which we are engaging. This is the first time I would hear a top police personnel in Nigeria publicly say we're sorry for what the police did, which is good, you know. So now, how do we ensure that there are no more Godwin Ekpo stories? Yes,
right. Every Nigerian has always asked for that. A lot of things have been done. Training and retraining. Just recently, the documents that guide us on the use of firearms, which we call Force Order 237, was reviewed. It was now made to be all-encompassing. It used to be what we call the use of firearms, but now it's use of force, which talk about graduation of forces. That also talk about how you can apply non-lethal weapon on people.
So like tasers
something
or things like that.
And
yes.
of course, this year you would see the Nigeria Police Force, the officers use more of stunt guns rather than those ones. But everything is also about human beings. They won't write it. Even if you give the training, you have to remember that a policeman is also just like every other person. And if you take Lagos as an example, close to 80 to 85% of people in Lagos are probably having a depression problem. And these are things, this is a 1 second thing that could happen. Yeah. So that is where the human element comes in, that you won't know at what point this will happen. But on the part of the police, a lot of mechanism, and that includes prosecuting the offenders. Because the Nigeria Police Force remains the only institution in this country that is leading when it comes to bringing officers into account for their misconduct. Right. And the Nigeria Police has not failed to do that.
How about bribery? The bribery bit. Do you have now internal mechanism for punishing officers who have been known to demand or take bribes?
We've always had that.
Have you improved it?
It has always been improved. That is also why, in addition to what we call the escort section, which police the policemen, we now have the complaint response unit, which replace the hold a public complaint bureau, which makes it possible that if you are going on the road, you see anything that is being done wrong by the police, you can quickly call a number and they respond. And of course, in Lagos, part of the thing that we've been doing, everybody has my number, they send me SMS. And what is that we don't stop on punitive measure. We also understand on the need, because in some other climes, they call a psychiatrist to come and evaluate the person. What could have gone wrong? Has a history of that? And is it just a one-off thing? So we now also complement it with, after you must have taken them through the punitive measure, we organize, like in Lagos State Command now, a one-week orientation course to reorientate them. An attitudinal change to the way they relate with the members of the public.
Does that include training officers to handle rape cases, for example? Because I know Lagos has promulgated stricter laws against rape and abuse of women and all of that. However, in terms of training the officers when people come in, has there been any change? Because I liked where you talked about psychologists, about training, about just understanding how about cases like that are quite delicate, rape in particular. With
regard to rape cases, I'm very sure if all the agencies of government and the civil society groups from the in and out of the country that's been working on rape cases, if they're here, they will tell you that they've done well with us with regards to training of our personnel, handling, and that is why the vulnerable section unit in each of the police stations now, you have a desk which is called the family support unit. One of the things we do is have a separate place where you can talk to them, but it's just not about the police, it's about the society. It's about, I don't want to come out because they will stigmatize me. So that
would take a while to change.
Yes, and I was at Dr. Joe Dumakin's premiere of a movie on domestic violence. That is to let you know that all the past feelings that, yes, we don't want to go to the police is not going to answer us. We've been improved on that, and we've engaged each other in order to improve the capacity of our officers in handling such cases, and of course in having the victims to have the confidence to talk to a police officer.
All right. Well, this has been a very nice morning, Mr.
Thank you.
Owoseni. I'm liking this policeman that I'm seeing.
Thank you.
We will get to a point where we like our police.
Sure.
I hope.
Sure.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right.